I suppose the purpose of this pillar, which is all around education and training, is ultimately to deliver a more capable, digitally enabled and better skilled workforce. And this is across all levels within the industry, from the operative right through to the managerial and professional grades. So we see it as a big challenge, and this will drive greater efficiency, sustainability and productivity within the industry, and also ultimately to help the industry gain competitive advantage in the international construction market. The pillar membership, Pat mentioned it already this morning. The pillar membership is representative of the type of people that we feel we need on this particular pillar. So again, Ken and I co-lead the pillar. In terms of the membership, we have Siobhan Bradley, who is the industry advocate, who's from Regional Skills. We have people representing the main contractors, the higher education sector, and the consulting side. So our aim in this pillar is to work closely with the industry membership on the pillar, listen to the industry membership, and take the learnings from that and implement it in terms of the broad-ranging education and training pillar. And if we look at deliverables, which will become the outcomes of this project, so in year one, sorry, I think there's another bit to add to that. There is, yeah. In year one, we will review the education and training provision across the different sectors through the higher education sector, DTVs, skill nets, and other programs. For example, the DASB project. The DASB project is digital adoption for a sustainable built environment. The DASB project commenced last year. It's a human capital initiative project led by TUS, the Technological University of the Shannon. We've already been working with the DASB project personnel, starting this particular process. So in year one, we will publish an education and training inventory, and we will then update and publish it in each of the following years. And this will all be available on the Digital Exchange Hub. As part of the annual survey that other speakers have discussed, we will analyse the skills gaps, and we will publish the outcomes. And again, this will be done on an annual basis. In year two, we'll develop a skills gap analysis tool, and we'll pilot it in year two, and we will publish the outcomes from it in year 3, 4, and 5, again available on the Digital Exchange Hub. We will, in year one, launch a digital education, training and research network, which will include members of Build Digital and across the sector, both within the project and outside the project. I suppose an absolutely key aspect is to look at new education and training provision. So there is a substantial provision in place. The skills gap will identify where new education and training should be provided. We're looking at developing modules, potentially programs. So in year one, we'll be looking at identifying potential modules. And in the subsequent years, we will be developing and delivering those modules in a series of blocks from years 2 to year 5. And this will be done in conjunction with the ongoing work that we're all doing in higher education and work that's being done in other projects. And in terms of a methodology, that's the diagram showing the different pillars in the structure of the digital project. Why that's there really is to show that education and training is an absolutely key pillar, and it's a pillar that will be talking to all the other pillars and working with all the other pillars. So in terms of an overall methodology and an overall approach, and maybe a philosophy to how we're going to work, the pillar will work closely with the project lead, the project management office, and the other pillars. And as mentioned earlier, we're looking at working with the annual survey. Robert mentioned the living labs, which obviously are going to be key, the Exchange Hub, and the inventory, which has been developed. I think it's important for us to work with and align with current education and training projects and outputs. I think one of the things when we've already had meetings with for example, the DASB group, and one of the things that is key. Really is, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. We're to take what is in place and produce programs that work efficiently for industry and make the most of what we have. So I think the sum of the parts is very, very important here. In terms of philosophy, we'll work with all group members within the pillar and outside the pillar. We'll have regular meetings, regular short meetings. We'll work on an action-based approach. And as Robert mentioned earlier, it's very much us facilitating and being driven by our industry stakeholders to produce, I suppose, what we would consider to be a much more comprehensive education and training network in 5 years' time, readily accessible, relevant, and dynamic, which means, I suppose, keeping up with the changes that will take place, and we'll see plenty change and plenty advancement over the next 5 years. And the last point there is the innovators, the structure where the pillar leads. The innovator who will be working full-time on this pillar is already in place. That innovator is located in WIT, and MTU Cork will also be involved in this particular pillar, and the innovator will be commencing very, very soon.